And we're back. Welcome to season 2 of Insights with Artzenin, and Happy New Year. A lot, and by a lot I mean just sequences of fortunate and unfortunate events have happened to me and are still happening to me, even though it's a new year. But my outlook on all of this is going to be positive. So I'm going to open up and tell you the latest quest that I have been a part of. And then I'm going to jump into what I'm going to be doing with my books, because you're here for my books primarily, to watch the vlogs, to learn about characters, plots, and my feelings, or a little bit of storytelling, etc. That's what the vlogs are for. Assessment, breakdowns can happen, but primarily you all are here to see me talk about for 15 minutes what's new with my stories and the direction or the changes that's going to happen. But the biggest change that's happened in my personal life, I was being sued by this woman, and for privacy purposes, I'm not going to say who any of the individuals are. And I didn't do what I was being accused of. I sold a car to a dealership. The owner of the dealership did not take off my tags, my plates, none of that. I, come to find out, should have done that, but I that was the first time selling a car. No one had taught me otherwise. However, the dealership is supposed to take the plates and the tags off and either give them to me or destroy them. This dealer did not do that. And 3 days upon selling this vehicle, I get a letter from my old insurance company, Progressive, and they are saying there is this claim against me. I'm like, what? No, I canceled the insurance. So I called Progressive and told them, what's this about a claim? I sold the car, and I have the documentation to prove that I canceled you all the same day I sold this car. They looked into it and saw that this was correct. Then Kentucky Farm Bureau gets a hold of me a few days later, and it's the lawyer of the woman who was involved in that car wreck with my former car. Had to tell them the same thing I told Progressive, and they're saying, well, no, you're the one responsible. We scanned the VIN was scanned and your name popped up, and I'm going, people, I was not in that car. I don't know who was in that car, but it's not happening. It gets crazier. When another Kentucky Farm Bureau agent calls, because there were two of them. So the first one is trying to tell me I'm at fault, but then the second one calls, and I told him that the first agent told me that my car has been destroyed and there was a wreck and this person is suing me. He goes, that's not what happened. What happened was the other woman's car got destroyed and there was a casualty. And by casualty, I mean someone got hurt, not killed. And your car is just fine, which it makes sense because when Progressive called me and said that the car was destroyed as well, I told that supervisor, Progressive, that's funny because I just drove past the old dealership and I saw my car sitting there just fine. So the wires were crossed for everybody. But after the second Kentucky Farm Bureau agent told me this, he was going to take care of it. Never heard back from him again. I went to the law. The county attorney of Perry County told them I wanted to file a criminal charge against the dealer. They didn't get back to me. They only got back to me 4 days ago as of 2024 and told me it's not a criminal case. It's going to have to be a civil case. You have to sue the dealer. If you're wondering, well, why didn't you just go onto the lot of the dealer and settle it that way? Because he perceived me to be a lesbian. I can't go into the details as to why he came to that conclusion. Just know when he was testing the car, he was saying some shady stuff, and he claimed he was an esteemed Christian man. And when it came to the topic of the LGBT, my thing was, you sound mean, you sound angry, like you have an evil bias with those individuals. If you study the word and you understand spiritual warfare and you understand spiritual politics, then you know that hell and demons are responsible for the curse of sin and giving us these forbidden feelings and urges, right? See, I challenged him. I challenged his integrity and his intellect. Because if he has the fruits of the Spirit, he wouldn't be evil and bitter. No matter what Avon people have, I don't care what it is. That is their life, that is their feelings, and that is their belief. I know that hell is responsible, but shouldn't the dealer have known this? But the way he talked about the LGBT made me mad. I said, they're just people. And although these people have free will, and the Lord says we have free will, what you are doing with your free will, sir, is disgusting and repels me. I'm a pastor. I'm a Hebrew minister. And I'm telling you right now, you do not have ahava for these people. I don't think he liked my response. Not only did he cheat me for the price of this car, it was worth $4,000, and he cut me to first it was $2,900, then he dropped it to $2,500. He knowing that I was a Christian and a pastor, comes at me the next morning after I had sold the car with all that previous information at the front of his mind and said a story concerning his sister who he found out was a homosexual, and then he inserted profanity, said what he did to her, and I cut him off and said, do you believe I'm a homosexual? Roger, that is the farthest thing from the truth. And he said if I came on the lot, he'd hurt me. So I wanted a police officer with me. But the police couldn't come unless the court gave them the green to do it. But then the Perry County attorney says, you cannot do this. It's a civil matter, not a criminal matter. Now, just in the middle of 2025, the Hazard PD released the report to me, and they tell me who the name of the man was who got in that wreck with that woman. And I saw his name, the officer who took the report. So I called that officer, and they very much confirmed, yeah, when we scanned the VIN, you popped up, but this is the man in the car. We didn't really understand it, but this is how we took the report, because your name popped up, but you were not in the car, and you're not a man, you're a woman. We're just as confused as you are. So with that police report, I kept that for my records and was thinking, you know what, I'm just going to let it go. Now that I know who it really was, I'm going to let this be. But again, I can't go and get the bill of sale that I happen to lose. I don't know where it's at. It's somewhere in this house. I still can't find it. But the dealer had it. But I could not go ask for that bill of sale, which would have cleared up so much of this, because he perceived me to be a homosexual and he was going to hurt me as a result. And he carried a Glock and a machete. I'm not stupid. And I perceived him to be a slightly bit of a racist. So I wasn't going to go alone. But the police couldn't come because the court said no. When I went 5 days ago to get a quote for a new vehicle, LexisNexis pops up and the claim is pinged on me. And that claim says I was the one in the wreck. So the agent of Kentucky Farm Bureau says, were you in this wreck? Because, and he turns the screen, Lexus has you as the one responsible. I said, no, this is not me. I know who it was. And I said the individual's name, and they go, well, don't get mad at us. You got to take it up with Lexus. Are you all ready for this? I go to Lexus, tell them what's going on, and they tell me it wasn't Kentucky Farm Bureau that pinged me. It wasn't the dealer that pinged me. It was Progressive. How? How did we get from that to... How is Progressive involved? Again, when they were the first point of contact. I talked with them, they cleared me, and they said that they understood. I told them about how I lost the bill of sale, but the dealer had the bill of sale. But when they looked back into the computer and saw when I canceled my insurance with them, how could I possibly have a claim when I no longer have them? Because they were getting pressured to pay for this damage to the woman's vehicle. But I no longer even had them. So, as you can see, this has just been a maze, a labyrinth of events, back and forth and back and forth. Now I got righteously angry, and the Lord told me, sue this man. Sue the dealer. Sue him. He is not who he says he is. Inspect that fruit. For Scripture says you do not go against a fellow confessing sibling of the Lord. You're not supposed to. It is forbidden to do. And that is the only reason I wasn't going against the dealer, because he confessed to know Yahweh. And I didn't want to make a big deal about it by default. But after all of this, oh yeah, side note, I learned that in February of 2024, when I sold the car in 2023, that dealer transferred the title and the tags into his name then. So he knew what he was doing. It's messy, but I got to do what I got to do. This was unfair, and this had me very stressed out and weighed down. But now that that quest is out of the way, let's go on to the new one. I'm doing short stories. The short stories and the short story collection that I have planned are very brief little stories from any various collection. And with this, I decided with Anointed Works, where I am, if you've watched me, you know that I am a lot of titles, and I am the president and founder and CEO of Anointed Works, but I'm also the producer of Zion Studio, as well as an affiliate author as Artzenin. And I decided that my short stories I will push through Zion Studio to give them content, because they need it. Those short stories are going to come from different collections that I have written or they have written. We're looking at 10 to 80 pages tops, at least. No more than 80. And those short stories will point to the main stories. And I like that. I think maybe this is a good approach, because now if the main stories are the turnoff, or people don't want to pay a lot of money for what my main series or Zion Studios main series are worth, they don't want to pay that money. Okay. So I got to thinking, what if we have a collection full of short stories, have a few free here, and then $5 or $2. It's either going to be $2 or $5. This way, the consumer doesn't feel like they're wasting money or losing out, but at the same time, we are also not going to settle for nothing. Originally, I had all my stuff for free. It didn't matter because people didn't know me. It didn't matter because people didn't understand where I was coming from. This year, I'm going to be working more on the transparency of who I am as an author, as Artzenin, what I write, why I write it. And these short stories will be just like the little cookie trail, the crumbs that lead people to a bigger picture, if they want it. They don't have to read them, the bigger books, novels and stuff, but I would, because the short stories are just a little tiny inside scope to something so much more. Speaking of which, something more is coming. I have it planned, but due to recent events concerning Snapshot's development and how we are very, very understaffed, we had to step back and go over a lot of season 1 and the remaining episodes of season 1. But something more is there. We're just probably going to push back its release date. I'm still working on that, not because I'm incompetent, but because I want to give everybody the best quality, the best money's worth, the best everything. I'm looking forward to more episodes with Insights with Artzenin. This was just a brief introduction to the new season. Hope to catch you in the next episode. I hope you also enjoyed your holiday and had a great Christmas as well. And honestly, you're just pumped for the new year like I am. Much love. Bye.